It's Thursday, 12th of December 2019, and it will go down as a defining day for a generation. After all the build-up anticipation, it all comes down to which way the pendulum will swing on the day. There can only be one winner. You can forget the election for a few hours. Tonight, it's all about the FA Youth Cup tie between Reading and Crystal Palace, which kicks off at 7 p.m. at Medeski Stadium. There will be one winner on the night, one way or another. Extra time or penalties loom if the teams can't be separated in the regulation night. Both these teams entered in the competition in the third round. One of the teams are going to exit at the same stage. The other will go on to face either Wolves or Nottingham Forest in round 4. Those two clubs meet tomorrow evening at New Bucks Head. That's the incentive for tonight's participants. Get over the first hurdle, set up a trip to the Midlands and see how deep they can go into this year's FA Youth Cup. My name's Richard Dorman. Joining me in the commentary position for this evening's game, it's Jokkel Anderson, goalkeeper at Reading Football Club. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem, Rich. It's great to be here, mate.
Yeah, thank you for everyone who's joining us on YouTube as well, and everyone who's braved the weather, although it has calmed down a little bit now. It's always great, isn't it? Because you do get a few fans here at these games for these big occasions.
Oh yeah, it's so good to come and see, because there's so many great potential here playing it. You've seen loads of players that are superstars now that people were already spotting here at the U18s, the Youth Cup. It's so good to come and see all these great talents.
I think down the years, in the last sort of 4 years or so, we've faced a Man City team that had Jadon Sancho and Philip Foden. We've faced a Chelsea side that had Tammy Abraham and Tomori, and Mason Mount was on the bench that night. It just shows kind of the level and how seriously people take this competition. They play the strongest teams where they can.
Yeah, 100%. Just what you said, they've got some crazy talent, like Jadon Sancho, probably one of the, he's one of the top players in the world. And Phil Foden, and I remember because my older brother Axel was playing against Tammy Abraham at the Stamford Bridge when they lost 4-2. Was it? Yeah, and you could just see what kind of level he was going to be and stuff. But it's some crazy talent in this.
And I think in particular he probably had a bit of a proud little brother moment because he got on the score sheet that day, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He had I was at the game. It was so fun to see. He absolutely smashed one with his head in, and he gave one penalty away, unfortunately. But we shouldn't be talking about that.
No, we won't talk about that. Let's take a little look at the Reading team for tonight and how we're due to line up against Crystal Palace for the 7 p.m. kickoff. In goal, it's 16-year-old Kanai Boyce Clark starting. 12 months ago, he made his first start for the under-23s here at Medeski Stadium against Manchester United, just aged 15. Providing the protection will be centre-halves Gerald Dorset and captain Josh Hewitt. Linford Saki and Murray Samuels take up the full-back positions. In midfield, twosome of Connor Lawless and Ollie Pendlebury, both who played in the third round and fourth round against Cambridge and Villa last year. And England youth international Claudio Sorio is the more advanced of the three. Neves and Nevers are on the wing, Pedro and Thierry, and American striker Augustus McGiff leads the line. On the bench, Harvey Collins, Nelson Abbey, Alfie Anderson, Nahum Melvin Lambert and Jordan Hamilton. I suppose the big omission really is Michael Elise, because he's on first team duty up in the Midlands, and that's it's a bit of a blow, isn't it? Because the fact that he's playing so well, it means that he's got that first team involvement, and you'd love to have him here tonight. Yeah,
it's a massive blow for the boys because he's a great talent. His feet is unbelievable, and he's got a great set of tricks on it. But sometimes it's just like that when they're that good, they got to be staying with the first team. So, and when the gaffer says he wants someone, he gets them done. So,
and especially with that kind of period now, we've got that game against Barnsley last night, and then Stoke on Saturday. So it's I'm sure that's in your thoughts in particular, because I guess you're quite regularly training with the first team players and things, and that's really important.
Yeah, as I said, I think as we all are, we're trying to push for that, to be in the squad, to go on and be involved with the boys, because that's where I want to be as well. I've been training with them for a couple of months now, and it's been going really, really well. And now I'm just trying to push to be in the squad. So yeah,
absolutely. And just on the FA Youth Cup, you mentioned it right at the start. It is an amazing occasion, isn't it? Because not just for the people coming to watch and the talents you get to see on show, but for those boys themselves. And I'm sure when you were involved, you probably you had the whole day building up to it.
Oh yeah, I was so nervous for my first when we played against Cambridge. Literally, we wake up and that's the first thing on your mind. You think, all right, we need to start to get ready now. We need to start to get going, and yeah, you get the butterflies in your stomach. But it's once when you step on that pitch and you're in the football mode. That's when it goes away. But yeah, you get nervous definitely.
Yeah, I think last year you were involved, as you mentioned, against Cambridge and then Villa. Cambridge was round 3. Should we take a little look at some of the highlights there? You want to talk us through some of them?
Yeah, definitely. So it was. It was an interesting game, yeah.
Yeah, this is your first contribution, I believe. Is this you getting a leg on this?
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, it was a crazy start. Literally, it was like 5 minutes in, and they were already through like getting a cut by cross, and luckily I made the save there. But yeah, we got Thierry with a great finish.
Incredible. He's playing tonight, of course, which is and he's almost dropped into the back into the 18s.
Yeah.
What about your defence for that? You got to.
Yeah. It happens sometimes. They got a good header on it, but luckily we have great finishers in the team like there. Jack Nolan was a great finish. And
what about this one?
Yeah, got another little goal. So yeah, happy with that.
Yeah, and your teammates straight over to say thank you. Really, to keeping it at 2-1, and then eventually.
Because it was really intense at time because they were launching it in, and like we're very we like to play pretty football rather than like that, exactly like that from Michael Elise. What a free kick that was. So yeah, it was a tough game because they were very physical, while we had more like we want to play. So we just had to kind of adapt to in the game what we were going to do, and luckily, yeah, we're going to win.
And it's similar to the FA Cup in that sense, isn't it? Because there might be a difference in level categories and stuff. Where one academy produces a lot of players, but on the nights it's cup football.
Exactly. It's just that's it doesn't really matter if you're technically brilliant or if you're good at this or that. It's just football, and you know how football can be. It's who wants it more, who wants to win, and who really wants to go through. So yeah.
We caught up with under 18s, with joint coach, if you like, Michaela Ledgerwood, ahead of the game as well, just to hear what he had to say about this evening's tie. Boys in the under 18s, they're used to playing Saturday lunchtimes, but under the floodlights, it's going to be a totally different atmosphere, isn't it, when we play the Youth Cup game against Palace?
Yeah, it's always a nice sort of distraction from the league, if you like, but. Playing Saturday lunchtimes is something different for some of them. They might have experienced it with obviously the 23s, but all the big hype around the FA Youth Cup is something which the boys are all looking forward to, of course.
Are you sensing there's that little bit of excitement building towards it in when you see them out training?
Yeah, of course. Everyone, it comes to that point where everyone wants to play in it. So, the tempo sorts of increases and their intention. So. We want competition for places, of course, and hopefully, the boys will be right up for it come the night.
And as a coach too, it's kind of a different type of test that you'll see the boys involved in. I guess if you kind of see them, you'll learn new things about these players as well in this environment.
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, we've been involved in cup competition this season, and the boys have done well. Coming down from 3 behind in a couple of games and showing good character and spirit to come back. So. We're going to need that, those characteristics certainly from everyone involved.
And of course you need to progress to get the second chance to do it all over again in the next round, don't you? So the result does become all important if you want to keep getting these experiences under the belt.
Of course, it's a must-win game for us to progress. We certainly had a bad taste left in our mouths from last season playing Villa away, so it's an opportunity now for us to go and really show what we're about. And we've got some good talent coming through, so hopefully it will look good for us.
On a personal level, you're looking forward to being in the dugout at Madejski Stadium and part of that coaching team?
Yeah, definitely. It's something I haven't done just yet, so looking forward to it. Obviously I had good times there playing as a player, so being on the sidelines, if you like, watching and trying to get a team to go and win a game is going to be a great experience for myself and Michael, of course.
Those were the thoughts of Michaela Ledgerwood, and he's a guy you worked with closely last season as part of the under-18 setup. Good guy to work with?
Oh, lovely guy to work with. He's probably one of the nicest staff I ever worked with. He always had tips, he was a legend at Reading, wasn't he? He is an absolute legend, so he always had tips like, in and around the training ground, the changing room, and he's a new coach. You know, he's still learning, but he's such a class coach. You know, he's going to be a very good coach in the future.
And he's got a bit of help as well in the form of Michael Donaldson. They're kind of almost working as a partnership, and I guess he's probably someone you haven't worked with, but you can see what he's going to bring into the team as well.
Yeah, like they're looking like what I'm seeing now. Like you've seen in the in the Premier League Cups games that like they're coming back from a 3-0 down at half time. Like that shows some proper spirit, and like that's something you can't really do out on the pitch. That's what you get in your players. That you get something from the players. Well, I think it's a massive thing in football. So I think they're getting really the best out of the players, and
and Ledge, of course, as you mentioned already, was a hero here because of what he did on the field. And I guess you're probably a bit too young to actually remember that, but that's what a legend is, isn't it? Someone who, even down the years, people are still talking about.
No, exactly. Like when I came here, like there's pictures everywhere around him. Like there's frames, and you see in the dome and like in the old changing rooms, like there's pictures up there with like when he's celebrating the goal and stuff, and you already know that he is a legend of the club. So
Yeah, and I think in particular as well, there's a lot of legends at this football club, a lot of pictures of players around, and one of the big things is that there's players who have come through this academy too. I mean, you mentioned Axel, your big brother, and that he was one of 54 in the last, since the academy opened, who have come on and played first team football. Some of them have played a lot of first team football too.
Yeah, exactly. Like Axel, he had a couple of games with the first team. So it was so good to see. Proud moment from the family. There's like Gilfie. Yeah, he was a great player here already. I didn't obviously see him myself, but obviously like seeing clips of what he did here, it's just crazy how many Icelandic people have actually gone through like the ranks here and done, have made it to the first team. So yeah.
And it looks like we've got a bit of an international audience on YouTube as well. Some comments coming in Icelandic. You're having to translate them for me and stuff. So hopefully we'll get a bit more of that. Thank you for everyone who's joining us on tonight's live stream. Less than 10 minutes, or just over 5 minutes, in fact, until kick-off. And there's a few faces arriving now over in the East Stand. So I think a few of them are probably on the concourse, getting warm, getting a coffee. And sorry, Jakob, I forgot to get us a drink.
No worries, mate.
But it's not quite as bitter as it has been, which is the important part. So, one of the things that Ledge mentioned as well, he mentioned last year's run. That was a great game against Cambridge. Villa ended 4-1, in Villa's favour. A bit disappointing even?
Yeah, very disappointing. Well, to be fair, it was just a disappointing first 30 minutes in the first half. Like, we got off to the worst of start. Like, they scored in like the 12th or something minute, and we just kind of, when you feel like there's going to be like there's a bit of tension, like the lads are a bit nervous, so, and literally they scored like 2 goals like 7 minutes later, and that's just such a shot, and that's what it's like you can't really let it happen, because it's so hard to get back into it. Like in the second half, we were a lot better second half. We got a goal back, and like we were playing like the football that we wanted to play before the game, but sometimes it just doesn't go the way. So.
A few of those players will have learned from that experience too. The boys like Conor Lawless and Ollie Pendlebury, as we mentioned, that kind of midfield pivots, if you like, sort of the deep lying players. They'll, as I say, they'll be able to kind of spread that kind of like knowledge, if you like, throughout the rest of the dressing room tonight. So there's a bit of experience, a bit of inexperience too, as you say. A young goalkeeper in our boys Clark as well. There's a real range even within the under 18 setup.
Yeah, but like with Kanaya, he's been playing with the 23 so much, so I think he would be really actually be one of the more experienced lads, if anyone out there, because he's been absolutely skyrocketing with the 23s and all that. England as well, so it's so good to see. So, but you see, there's a lot of international, England international and other internationals. I think we've got a really good team there, and hopefully they just can come around together and perform like we want to do.
Less than 5 minutes to go until kick-off, and we'll keep hearing the views of Jokal Andersson throughout this evening as we build up to this evening's game, and hopefully by hook or by crook get through to the next round. It's will be a trip to the Midlands in round 4 as it was last year, either which way, Wolves or Forest. We'll probably having a bit of an eye on tonight as well, because those teams will want to go deep in the competition as well. Big famous clubs.
Yeah, massive clubs already here, like Crystal Palace in the Premier League and stuff. But Rennie just have such a good academy, so hopefully get the top.
Obviously, you mentioned probably the biggest name that's come out of our academy is one of your countrymen in Gilfrey, but Palace as well. Over the years, they've had a handful of players who've come out and done really well. In particular, Wilfred Zaha, who's kind of came through there.
It's not too shabby, is it?
No, it's not. So it's kind of that's particularly useful, isn't it? Because I guess even you as a goalkeeper, you can look at some of the players who've come through our academy here and elsewhere and done very well.
Yeah. Like it's just so promising to see, and like for myself, like now being, you know, in and around the first team, that you know I'll maybe hopefully sometime in the future go and you know make my debut. You know, that's obviously just what the dream is at the moment, to go on and make my debut. You never know what's going to happen. You know, you just take a chance.
Just a reminder of the team news as the team takes to the field. In goal, number 1, Canary Boys Clark, just 16 years of age. In front of him, the centre halves are Gerald Dorset and Josh Hewitt, who captains the team tonight. Linford Saki is going to be playing at right back, and Mario Samuels on the left. In midfield, it's a 3 of Conor Lawless, Ollie Pemberbury and Fabio Sorio. Pedro Neves, Thierry Neves on the wings, and then Augustus McGiff is going to lead the line as the number 9. So that's how the Royals lined up this evening. Just a few minutes away from kick-off, and just going through the pre-match processions now. And I guess this is where the butterflies start kind of fluttering around because the boys have all the preparation and to an extent throughout their whole life up to this point, because it's such a big occasion.
It is like when you're walking on the pitch and like you see all the parents and all the fans watching, like probably looking at you, like you get a bit of butterflies, but they start soon fading away when they actually start to play football. So
I guess every player's different. Some players will be very nervous going into this, some will be just calm as anything, and it's just how you deal with it, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I was always more of a nervous Nelly, if I'm honest. I was always like, I remember like, I always hated like going like on the bus going to the away games. I was like, I just want to get there. But like some people just absolutely just rock up and no nerves at all. So it's all kind of different characters and personalities. It's just how much you actually perform on the pitch.
What do you think? What kind of things do you reckon the boys will be saying in that circle this evening?
They're just talking about how they just talking about the game plan, and just talking about how, you know, some encouraging words and stuff. So it's nothing really too complicated. It's just like making sure you get the win. You want to go for the next round. It's such a good team that we have at the moment.
Getting through to the next round is the all-important part, isn't it? Because this Youth Cup, it's you don't get you get a second chance. Perhaps as a player, you might get one go at it, you might get two goes at it, 3 if you're very lucky, but typically you might only get one go at it. So
I only had one go at it. I was injured had a knee injury, but out for a whole year. So it is so vital that, you know, they do perform their best. They put in the best efforts. You know, if they make mistakes, they make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's that they're just putting the best in. That's all that matters. They're actually trying their hardest.
And as we prepare to kick off, Claudio Sorio just a little bit of a few little keepy up is there as he prepares to put whatever they've got planned from kick-off into action against Palace. And Reading get going. You mentioned the Sorio, great footballer there. He's always got a big smile on his face about something as well.
Yeah, you can see just he enjoys playing football, and that's all that matters. Like they say, it's just you're enjoying yourself. You're learning new things. You're making mistakes. You know. So.
He's there already trying to snap into a few challenges, and I guess for a lot of our fans, this might be the first opportunity to see this young team tonight. Handball there that goes spotted and punished by the number 10 for Palace, which is Brandon Avera. But yeah, this will be the first time that a lot of our fans get to see these young players, and one of them being Thierry Neves, who's involved for the 23s. Maybe they'll see a bit more of him. He's down in the left corner. See what he can provide. Just overhits that pass, but it's collected.
Good to see that we're already on the front foot, trying to get in behind the defence, trying to cause some problems.
And once again, Reading do turn over position quite simply, and Pedro Neves is going to pick up on this side. Linford Saki's overlapping. He can start kind of lawless. Dorset storms over the halfway line. Makes a nice little pass to Neves, who's he's got a wide open for Pedro Neves, who's going to try and find one of the bodies in the box, and he completely scuffs it. I think he just catches it with his standing foot.
Yeah, he just caught it a bit wrong, and that's why. I know that wasn't the pace that he wanted to go, but
You can see from his gesticulations that he's not happy with that one. But if picking up those positions straight away and a nice little move.
Oh, it's very good to see. It's very good to see. It's very good to see that they're already getting on the in the final third, and that trying to create some tracks. So, yeah, it's good to see.
Jacob Russell with the goal kick for Crystal Palace launches it up towards halfway. Sorio's head is up in the air, and Conor Lawless, he's not the biggest of guys, but managed to certainly do a bit of a battle. Saki just goes back.
He always goes for a 50-50 corner, he will never back out.
And actually going for 50-50 is what caused that injury against Cambridge last year. That was a tough moment, wasn't it, for him?
Oh yeah, it looked like a massive blow. It looked so bad. It wasn't, to be fair, the worst injury in the world, but it's just like if you were at the game, you could hear the contact, and it just luckily it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, at the Abbey Stadium, there was a really big slapping sound as he went down, and it took a long time to him getting off the pitch. And that decent little touch there by Linford Saki, and he's managed to worm his way out of trouble. Here's McGiff, he gets bundled to the ground, but gets back up to his feet, playing with his
good feet,
fantastic feet, and he's got all the way. He scoops one over to the far side, but it's just out of the reach of Thierry Neves.
Great feet.
And I think that's what we call old school football attire. And look at how short are those shorts that he's wearing. Sorry, I beg your pardon, the socks I should say. Shorts,
you see that quite. I see that quite often now. Like with Olivier Giroud, he likes to have his socks down like Jack Grealish and stuff. I don't get it myself personally. Like to start getting but it must be something that must be a pleasure.
A night like tonight, I think I'd be wearing long johns, but that's my personal preference. But here come Palace in the attack. It's the number 7, Addy. Squares it, and that's 1-0. Disappointing way to start. Brandon Navarro gets the goal for Palace.
Yeah, they're just a bit open. Wide areas. They get through. Easy cutback cross.
You've got to say a lot of composure there by Palace to kind of actually convert that chance so early.
Yeah, they do well. Like it's a good pass from the winger. He does really well. It's just how the boys get back in there now. How they're good. They can't lose their heads. So keep going. Less
than 5 minutes played, and Palace lead 1-0 here at Medeski Stadium. But as you mentioned, plenty of time to get back into it, and this team has got back into it many times this season already. You don't want to come from behind if you can avoid it, but if you're going to go behind, you've got to.
Exactly. These players, these lads have showed some great character this season, and I think we're going to see that again here. So.
Going to get the game started again, and now they'll chase the deficit. Hopefully, we'll see this kind of spirit that this Reading team has shown many times, not just this 18s, but Reading's academy throughout the years, really. And here comes Pedro Neves. Can he get on the end of this one? Uses some decent pace to get onto it. He's got an option with Lawless. McGiff tries to control, and it's hacked clear for a corner.
Once again, we're showing positive things. Like we're getting up the pitch, we're getting the ball out in the wide areas. It's just trying to get some shots on the goal now. Work the keeper.
To Mari Samuels, who comes over to the near side. He's going an in-swinger on that left foot of his. He's got a short option as well, and he's going to take it. There's Osorio. Back to him, back to Samuels, puts one up to the far side. Back into the centre, and hack clear. throw into Reading. Linford Sackey's another player. I think he's had a lot of sort of youth international experience. And am I right in thinking he's more of a forward player generally? But
no, he was. I was quite surprised seeing him playing right back. Every time I was playing with, like last year when I played with U18s, he was always on the wing. So I heard that he prefers actually playing right back. So it's often where wingers actually coming down to come down to fullbacks, like actually and stuff. So.
And I guess, if you can show a few different positions, it's another good way to get on the coach's good side as well.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how many cases I've seen where wingers hate going into fullbacks and don't want to play there. But if he wants to play and he wants to try his best,
If you had to have a second position that wasn't a goalkeeper, where would you be?
Luckily, it was. I always try to keep myself in there. So.
Are there any other sports that are big in Iceland? Things that the country excels at?
Yeah, massively. We're very good at handball. That's probably that's up with the football. I used to play a lot of handball myself, and that's probably why I'm not afraid to get knocked in the head and all that kind of stuff. You just do anything to stop the ball going in the net. So handball's a massive one. Basketball a bit.
Handball is one of those sports that appears on TV once every 4 years in the UK when the Olympics comes around. And, it's pretty violent from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's not very. I've seen it's not that popular in England. I remember when I was in school, forest school, and saw all the kids playing handball. So I was thinking, what's going on there? Still love handball. Still love coming back to Iceland.
Just turns over possession for Palace, but they get it back. McGiff tracking back and wins a free kick. Looks like he's relatively new addition to the academy. McGiff joined in this summer, came over from America, and he looks like he's a bit of a workhorse, isn't he? The way he's been throwing himself in.
He's looking very sharp right now. He's getting the ball in, he's shielding it. He's trying to go past players. He's looking very good.
As things stand, it's a goal to nil in Palace's favour. Less than 5 minutes played when Brandon Navarro broke the deadlock. Saki goes along with the throw, but just manages to win a bit of territory. Saki assesses options one more time. Soria maybe hoping for a foul there, but clean challenge according to the referee. And Palace are going to have an opportunity to break, but it's turned over. And again, Lawless calm under pressure, but eventually wins the free kick. Is that sort of heart-in-mouth moment when the referee hadn't quite blown his whistle there?
It's like you're waiting for the whistle to blow because if that's not a foul, then
Palace looking for another opportunity. Dorset does manage to mop up though, and he goes wide to Summers.
It's good to see Joel who was out injured for such a long time, so it's so good to see him.
Here comes Thierry Neves. Can he get on the score sheet once again? Not just it yet. Another player who's been playing up very regularly with the 23, so he's dropped down to this level, if you like, to kind of carry on being involved.
Yeah, he's a very promising youngster. He's been scoring some great goals for the 23s, even though he's a young man. Don't really matter for him. He always steps up for the occasion.
Just a brief stoppage while Teta Kiadi gets a bit of treatment from the Palace physio. He's not sure exactly what happened. Looks a little bit innocuous. He was the assist provider for the opening goal. Did you catch a glimpse of what happened there?
No, I didn't see it. Hate seeing injuries. The first game of youth, it's probably the worst thing to see. Like with Conor Lawless last year, you could see on his face that it's just the absolute worst thing. And there's the am I going to get next game, or are we, if we get through, it is the worst. So hopefully everything's going to be alright.
some players very lucky with injuries. You mentioned yours as a youngster. What was that period like as a young kid trying to get over it?
It is, thing is, yeah, some people like say like injuries are the worst thing, but it can really build you up as a character, and it can really build you up. Like I used to be, as growing up, I used to be a very skinny lad, and like it was good to get in the gym and work on something that you can't work on as much when you're playing. So it's just trying to get the positive out of things, trying to get all you can actually get out of it. So it's just positive mindset.
That's the thoughts of Jocko Anderson alongside us in the commentary positions. Sporting League played back all the way to Palace's rear guard, and they look to build. But Samuels gets the ball out, just turns over the possession. Well, possession's turned over a few times in quick succession. Lawless going to try and shield the ball, a little turn of pace, but eventually dispossessed. And Palace have got an opportunity now as they drive forward through the goal scorer. Dorset with a clean, very good challenge indeed. And Saki releases Neves. Here's McGiff, tries to go around the corner. Battles to keep it in, but
You'll do anything to keep it in. I think we're just trying to gain possession right now. We've been losing a bit in their half, so it's just trying to get possession now.
Yes, Reading teams throughout the years have always tried to keep the ball and look tidy with it.
Always in the academy, it's been strong on trying to get the ball and play football. So, it's good.
Michael Donaldson and Michaela Ledgerwood just down on the touchline dishing out their instructions. As Linford Saki looks to see what his options are. A little bit unlucky for Lawless. It's been largely Reading have had possession, but haven't, since that opening spell, and particularly since the goal, haven't managed to kind of break through yet.
Yeah. They kind of got on the. We were on the more on the attack, more on the front side, and they got a goal, obviously, and that's takes a bit of momentum. But it's just now trying to get the momentum back and trying to stay on the ball and be brave and play the ball, play football.
Palace's goal coming as early as around 4 minutes on the clock. And just touching on something we said in the build-up about those kind of brilliant players that play in the Youth Cup down the years that we've seen either in the Daysky Stadium, like Sancho and Foden, Tammy Abraham. There's the referee going. There's certainly a purposeful challenge from Pendlebury, but there wasn't a lot of intent, I don't think, but the referee's having a word.
Yeah. Personally, I thought you got ball first, maybe. I thought, it looked like clean ball, but I thought
Well, Ollie Pendlebury's the first time his name taken this evening. He's going to have to walk that tightrope for the remaining 75 minutes of this game. And more importantly, Palace have got a free kick, and they'll look to see if they can double their advantage. But everyone's got to switch on now for Reading. Adi Navarro over the pool. Navarro goes to the far side. And it's turned in. Malachi Boateng, the captain, he tucks in the second for Palace. It's 2-0. Reading have got a lot of work on now.
Yeah, it's a good ball. It's a good ball from Brandon to get into the back post, and it's a very good header back into the play and into the group of we're just trying to get. And it's just we just can't open, not really compact enough and tight enough to go on defending and head it away. It's going to be a hard challenge now to trying to get back, but I still believe the boys can.
We mentioned earlier in the build-up that Reading have come from behind on their fair share of occasions this season. as recently as Saturday. They were 2-0 down against Tottenham Hotspur and ended up winning 3-2 in the 90th minute. And they've actually progressed into the next round of the Under-18 Premier League Cup with some absolutely unbelievable results. 3-0 down against Villa, 3-0 down against Borough, and beat both sides 4-3. So that character, they're going to have to show it now. But I guess for the coaches as well, they'll probably learn a lot about their team.
So it's so brilliant to see that, you know, because under-18s football can sometimes just be football and maybe not enough passion, but these boys are obviously showing passion when they're playing, so, and I know they're going to be showing it because they're a great bunch of lads.
That ball for Neves was a little bit overhit, which allows goalkeeper Jacob Russell just to reset and see what he can find downfield. The point I was going to make was before Ollie Penderbury conceded that free kick which led to the goal was can you tend to, we mentioned players like Tammy Abraham and Jadon Sancho, Phil Foden, can you see even before they break through there's something, a different class about them? Is it obvious when you're a player or playing against them that the level is different?
Yeah, 100%. You know, you see when someone is a bit different and is a bit not out there, but it is, you know, it has something about him. You know, it's like with Danny Loader. I think always when I was, when I played sometimes when I was 15s, he was 16s. Like you can see that he was going to be, go and break through the first team, and it's not that hard to spot when someone's that good. So yeah, you can see like with Tammy and Jadon Sancho, they were going to be stars.
Opportunity from the corner for Reading. It was McGiff and Neves were down in the corner that tried to make life difficult, and out of nowhere they've got an opportunity as Conor Lawless goes over. The big boys gone forward as well. Just Saki back in the centre circle. Canard Boys Club the only man back. Sawyer controls on his chest and will go all the way back to Lawless. Early ball in, but it's read nicely by Russell, and he goes for the early release. It's a little bit wasteful, and as is that. Penderbury just, I suppose he hit an area. It was Dawson strides over the halfway line. McGiff drops deep just to offer the option.
Good bit of play. Yeah.
Excellent play. And some quick feet. Sawyer's got a few different choices to make. Samuel, Linford Saki. Well, he's playing right back tonight, but popped up in the box with a goal. It's given Reading a bit of hope.
You see already from the build-up when they were playing, like it was great build-up and excellent finish from him as well. It's not an easy finish that is. So well done.
Took it well on his left foot, and as we mentioned earlier on, by trade he's a bit of a forward player, and just his instincts took him into the box, didn't they?
Yeah, I think exactly. And he went on the left side. He thought, all right, if he's going to score, he's going to win me, and that's great character.
Yeah, you're right. Back popping up on the left wing doesn't happen too often, but if he's going to justify his decision to go rogue there, and all of a sudden Reading look like they might have a bit of life in them. So here comes.
Now it's just game on. Now they put pressure on Crystal Palace, and they're going to be a bit nervous now, you know. So it's just carrying on the momentum and getting back in the game.
Neves tried something a little bit different, but it's cut out, and all of a sudden Palace threatened to go 3-1 up in this very open game. That's a great save by Boyce Cock, and he gathers it the second attempt, and that needed saving because that would have really sucked the wind out of the sails there.
What an important save, because if they scored now when they're up 3-1, it would be such a blow for the boys. So excellent save.
Just over 20 minutes gone, it's 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Reading battling hard to get the next goal, and that next goal, even at this early stage of the match, a quarter of it gone, is going to be hugely important.
You can see now like the intensity in the game's gone up massively now. Everybody looks a lot quicker now. Like, it's just massive how momentum is big in football. So hopefully we can carry on and use that momentum.
You mentioned a little bit earlier about injuries too. When you're a young player, it must be. We've seen a few over the years. I mean, Tom McIntyre's probably a great example of someone who's had two really serious injuries before he'd even played a first team game. But just that's all about character. But at the moment, Reading are under defence again, but Samuels just does enough, and eventually Osorio just a little shimmy, and he not only a good defender, but he gets out to Neves.
Thierry's very dangerous when he starts running the ball.
Picked up a head of steam and he's found Pedro Neves. The gift to Neves. Goalkeeper just gets there in time, and that's good. Reading have shown signs, aren't they?
Oh, massive signs. Very good positive signs. They see they're getting the ball now. They're starting to play. They're using the width of the pitch, and it's good to say good link-up play.
Without being too biased, the scoreline's feeling a little bit lopsided at the moment, a bit unjust, because some of Reading's play has been pretty nice, and the two attacks that Palace have had have been, taking both their opportunities, really. A little bit of coming together by Neves on Addy, which resulted in a free kick. Reading with a defend these, because that's where the last goal came from, wasn't it? A bit deeper this one, but these free kicks they're just as a legitimate route to goal, aren't they?
Yeah, they're now going to be a lot more switched on because they know that they conceded their last goal from free kicks, so now they're going to be making sure that it won't happen again. So
Tavero's going to put one long again. They do have an opportunity. It's drilled across, and after a bit of hesitation, the assistant initially flagged for a corner, but he quickly overruled himself and gave a goal kick.
Well done, Mario. Good defender. Make sure he stopped the cross game.
The gift taking up a position on the left flank. Comes into a central area. Lawless just checks his shoulder, chips it onto his left foot. Samuel's in the box. And nice bit of play, but I beg your pardon. Thierry never switched it onto his favoured right foot, but just lashed a little bit wildly.
Yeah, it's good play from Connor and Thierry. They always have very good link-up play, but unfortunately he just doesn't really get his body and his head over, and it goes just.
24 minutes played. Reading 1, Crystal Palace 2 in tonight's FA Youth Cup third round side.
You can see that Crystal Palace go for more direct football rather than Reading, and that's probably because of how their first team plays. So they normally try to go put that into the academy. It's very different because Reading under 18s and bit with the 23s, they always try to go play out from the back.
Does that philosophy of your experience kind of translate down from the first team kind of filters through the age groups as well?
Yeah, massively. It was so good for me to work on my feet as well, because I'm a big guy, so, and my footwork hasn't always been the best, so it's so good to sort out your feet, so, and put that into first team, so you're ready for the pace of with the first team.
Thistleton with the tackle there, just make sure that Neves doesn't escape down the left-hand side. Nice little touch from Neves, but going to keep the pressure on as the throw goes Reading's way. Samuels with the opportunity to cross, hangs one up deep. Neves is going to collect it on the far side. Ambitious effort, and he could get lucky, but eventually.
You can see what he was trying to do there, trying to do a little flick over his head.
So of this team, I guess you've played with most of them.
Yeah, I think I've played literally all of them. It's just Augustus that I haven't played with because he came in. Yeah.
Well, that's 2-2. Claudio Osorio takes advantage as the ball's fired over, and suddenly we've got a real game on our hands. It's 26 minutes played and back all square again.
Oh, I'd love to see that. It's a great touch from him, and just to put it down in front of him, and then hell of a finish as well. And then he's put him right in the side there. Really well done.
Well, all of a sudden, all the momentum's with Reading Football Club.
Exactly. We've been talking before how they've been getting back into games and exactly what they've done here. We never questioned it. It's great to see from the boys. Great character.
And those are the sort of attributes that kind of go unseen sometimes. You've seen things you don't show character on a YouTube highlights reel, for example, do you? That's
exactly.
That's just in the player, isn't it? Or in the set of players in this circumstance here. From 2-0 down, Reading go back to 2-2 with less than half an hour gone in this match. And this really is a cup tie now. It all started with this man Saki from Reading point of view, and he's to the delight of the crowd, sold a few little dummies, and here comes Dorset. A lovely little ball into Pendlebury, who's going to storm forward. He goes wide to Nevers, and that's a great little touch for Samuels. Samuels picks out Claudio Osorio. Lawless is signalling for it, but it goes to Pendlebury instead. Just a loose touch allows Reading to,
it's not the worst of balls, to be fair.
In fact, it's almost a very good ball. McGiff just let the goalkeeper know he's there as well. As a goalkeeper, he must be like a nightmare when you've got those players who are just on you all the time, anything loose and stuff, trying to make it difficult when the ball's on the floor and closing down the angles.
It's the worst because you never then know yourself. Oh, am I going for it? Is he going for it? They're horrible to play against. So make sure you take the choice.
Not entirely sure. Hewitt I think he apologises there, the captain. A little bit loose with his pass. But this has been, maybe not one for the coaches will probably be, I think Reading will be happier at the moment because of the way the ascendancy is kind of building, but I think both sets of coaches will probably have a lot to say at half time.
No, yeah, massively. I would say this game hasn't gone to game plan for either one of them, but it's just how football goes, and it's just now how you can adapt to the game and how you can try to get on top of it.
Deep cross from Abbey, Boys Club just fields it comfortably, and a little bit rushed with that throw, kind of in between the two left-sided players, and that allows Palace back in, but they Reading cover their angle as well.
I think he was just trying to create that counter attack, trying to get on the front foot. Just doesn't quite get there.
And that's over here, which allows Reading off the hook. Half an hour gone.
See, I like to see that as well sometimes. Sometimes it's not always just pretty football. It's getting in final third. Now they've got a throw in the final thirds.
Nevers picks it up in plenty of space, and he's got a lot of time to assess his options. Goes with his left foot, and I think he always favours his right, so slightly loose with that one. Hopefully that gives us a little opportunity just to remind our supporters that our under-23s are in action next week, Monday the 16th of December at 7 p.m. against Manchester United in Premier League 2. An opportunity for 3 points against one of the front runners for promotion in Premier League 2. I guess it's a game that you'll hope to be involved in.
Yeah, it's a big game at the Medeski, and I think it'll be a very good watch. They're a very good side right now, and like I was checking like their team sheet in the last game. They had some good players like Chong and Indigo Gomez and stuff. So I think they'll bring in some good players, and so we can definitely have to be on top of the race.
Were you in attendance last year when we played Manchester United here?
No, I think I was travelling with the 18, so I think I've just missed it, but I heard it was a very good game.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tough one. I think a year to the day before this one coming up next week, and there was an Angel Gomez goal from the penalty spot which decided it. As you mentioned, John was in that side that day, and it wasn't that long before he was playing in the first team, getting on the bench and making his debut against Reading, in fact, in the FA Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Like you've seen like all these good players like coming from the youth academy. Like, so good to see what Solskjaer is doing with bringing the youth. Like he's trusting in the youth, he's believing in the youth, and it's a promising thing to see.
Just another stoppage while Dylan Thistleton just gets a bit of treatment. It's not the first time this evening we've had a stoppage, but looks like he'll be fine to continue.
Luckily, major injuries.
A game next week against United as well, as you say, it'd be nice to be involved in that, and in particular it'd be nice to see a good crowd, because I think we've got quite a lot going on that night. Free entry for all fans, free parking, a few of the first team players in the fan store signing things. It's great when you can kind of make a bit of occasion, especially before Christmas as well.
Yeah, massively. I hope as many people come and watch it. Because we've been on a good form recently. We beat Child here in a 3-2, and then we beat Newcastle away at 1-0, and we're on a good form, and I know we'll put on a big game. So hopefully, as many people can come in.
So you've got Landrison alongside us in the cross country. Saki with a bit of a swing and a miss as the ball went loose, but he's trying to drive forward. Instead, it's Abbey who comes away with the ball for Palace, and he draws the foul. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's great that the Reading Football Club have committed for so long to making these games free for our supporters, and there's no barriers to kind of come in and support the future generations.
No, yeah, exactly, because these are hopefully the players that are going and playing in the first team. So it's good to see what the academy is creating and make, because we have some top talents in our team. So.
Ball just runs away from Osorio, and he desperately scampering to try and make it difficult. Abbey's tackled cleanly. Lawless with a fantastic challenge, and Osorio manages to set Pemberbury away. He's got Nevers outside. Feints onto his left, drives. And Palace just hack it away. The ambition of a lot of these players is to first break into the Reading team and see where their career takes them. And you mentioned that game, that Youth Cup game back in 2016 that your big brother Axel was involved in, scored at Stamford Bridge. Of that team, the 14 players that were in the squad that night, or that were used, I beg your pardon, on that evening, do you know how many have gone on to play for the first team?
I'm going to guess 9. Is it?
Have you been looking at my
No, actually, I haven't.
9 players, so amazing, really. Omar Richards, Teddy Howe, Gabe Osho, Axel, Riley, Sam Smith, Josh Barrett, Danny Loader, Tom Holmes. Wow. I mean, that was a pretty serious sort of squad there, and I guess some of those boys are at different stages, even now, but they're all they've all got careers in football ahead of them.
Yeah. That was I remember that squad so well. That was an amazing under-18 squad. They did so well in the league, and then unluckily they got Chelsea, quite far ahead in the Youth Cup stages, but they were a great squad. I remember Axel talking about how much he enjoyed playing with those lads, and as you can see, so many of them have gone and made their first team debut. It's just so good to see, and that's just Reading for you. They want to get their academy boys to make their debut and get on with their careers.
Good defender by Palace just to deal with Samuel's corner. Do you think that maybe that cup run in particular is the sort of thing that is the reason why these players have gone on to play first team football.
Yeah, I would say
Here comes Neves. Fires over the cross, and again, just doesn't quite pick. He's got into some really good areas, just hasn't quite found it when he's been shown onto his left foot as he is so far.
Yeah. I feel like I want to see a bit more people running right onto the goalkeeper and causing some kind of problems because there's some good balls trying to get people involved.
There's an opportunity now as McGiff picks up, just checks his options, and he does draw a foul. Just did well to shield the ball and draws that foul.
Once again, it's great play here. Even though they lost the ball, they're getting it back straight away and they're going on the attack. So they're looking very good. They're looking very promising in this.
It was a year ago in the third round that Michael Elise set the ball down in a very similar position and pinned it in for 3-1 against Cambridge, although that was a little bit later in the game. And I guess the Reading players are all going to crowd around and see who's argue the case for them to be the taker. Just a short one. It's fired into the crowd. Sanders keeps it alive. Pendlebury. The referee actually kind of inadvertently just meant the Reading players had to check their run a little bit as they tried to do something a bit different. Would you have preferred just a shot there in that scenario?
Yeah, I'm quite a straightforward guy, to be fair. I would be, they go, oh, just shoot the ball. But you can see what they were doing. I think Connor's pass was just a bit too hard for him.
Gift has a little go and does a little nibble, but again, just forces the defender. Nothing easy. Doesn't allow any. Just makes him feed on scraps effectively.
Yeah, he's been causing all kinds of problems to the defence, and he's just got to keep going, keep doing that because I'm seeing a goal from him in this game.
So not afraid to work, and here he's battling for the ball and winning the throw, just as much to the dismay of the Palace players who thought that he didn't have the last touch. Saw his effort. It's going to bounce awkwardly. Thierry Neves is onside. Great little ball for Lawless, who, in fairness to Palace, they're quite calm under pressure there, and might even build an opportunity. They've got a man over.
Seems to be a bit strong, going wide and coming attack.
Oh, just ran away from Avira. He wasn't sure. He shimmied a few times. It just slipped away from his feet, and here comes Dorset.
Yeah, this with Jarrell's brilliant. That 1v1. It's so hard to beat him. He's so strong and so quick. And it's good defending.
Or Neves is where he's almost clipped, but he just keeps possession of the ball. Goes onto his left foot, squirms into the box, and that's just a little bit unlucky from Soria. And we can have another stoppage, I think, because there's another Palace player down in the Reading area, and that's for the third time in the first half. We're going to a little bit of an interruption. It doesn't look like a good one either.
No, Palace been quite unlucky with injuries in this game. It's never been too serious, but still, it's never nice to see for the players together. It's good play from Reading there as well, isn't it? Once again, they're always on the attack and causing all kinds of problems.
It's a cold evening, but the players are refuelling what they've got the opportunity just as we approach 5 minutes before half-time. 2-2 the score here at Medeski Stadium between Reading and Crystal Palace in the FA Youth Cup. And just while we have a little bit of treatment for, I think it's Avira who's down the goal scorer. I think it might have even been in the process of, well, he just looked at Gerald Dorset and that was enough to send him sprawling.
Yeah.
He's another one of those players. In modern style, he's a big player, can come out of defence with the ball and not afraid to attack the halfway line as well.
No, he's a manager's stream really, and a goalkeeper's stream as well, because I always love playing with him because he would do anything to block the ball, and he would do anything to not concede goals, and that's what he really went from a goalkeeper. And then obviously in today's modern game, you want your centre backs to be good with their feet now as well. And he's not afraid trying with the ball and causing trying to get an attack. So
you mentioned manager's dream too. I guess it's you want players who are just honest, hard working, and the rest of it, and don't cause any bother. No headaches and stuff. He's a good character in that sense as well.
Yeah, he's a wonderful character. There's never any problems. You can see on his physique, like he's always a hard worker. And, that's all that matters at this stage.
Lawless as well, just to slip away from that. And once again, there's great control from Neves as the ball goes fizzing by him, just to kill it and make sure that possession's not turned over, because it was a slightly weighty pass. It would have been tough to run onto. Pedro Neves has got a bit of space on the far side, but if McGiff on the left who picks up the ball, it's a great little turn. He's going to keep battling and just can't keep it in.
It's maybe a bit too much there. He did really well to go past the first defender, but then he tried to do a little shimmy against the other one. It's good for him. It's good to see.
You can tell how frustrated he was. He just hit the ground in frustration, but if he keeps working like that, the chances will come, I'm sure. It's a little bit more up and out by Josh Hewitt, and Palace are going to have an opportunity. There is back on the field. Saki's got a bit of defending to do, and he does it very well indeed. And
Brilliant.
Certainly adapted to that full-back position, and could be an opportunity here. It just runs away slightly from Theo Neves, who does foul his man, but the referee allows play to continue with the advantage. Vero cuts in. It's a bit of a dipper, and but he took it safely in the end, and he knew. I think he knew there was space to work with there, if you like, from the goalkeeper's point of view. You mentioned him in the build-up as well. He's the fact that he's been playing, for over a year for the under-23s is now a 16-year-old. He was 15 when he debuted at this time last year. It's quite amazing, really. He's got, I was going to say, it suggests he's going to have a great career, but he's going to make it happen for himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, 100%. He hasn't, even though he's done many great things now. He's been with England, and he's played a lot of games with the 23s, but he's still got work and still got to keep going. This is not the end for him. So
excellent turn of pace by Lawless, just turns the pressure into an attack, in fact. And Neves again gets, he's causing their fullback all sorts of problems all night, and swings over one with his right foot. Sorio's on the far side, and Neves just, I think he was anticipating his teammate getting a touch, but he's got an opportunity to pick a spot. Ends up, you can see that he wants to take it on his right foot, and I'm sure he's definitely got a left foot in him, but that's what happens sometimes with the players, and especially when you invert your wingers and go on the other side.
And I'm pretty sure I know that the plan is for him to cut inside and use his right foot.
Exactly as we see it now, and as we tick over into added time, of which there will be 3 minutes, and as we tick over, Conor Lawless is standing over this free kick.
Great to get something out of this just before half-time.
Certainly changing all the team talks, wouldn't it? Either which way, I'm sure that Michael Donaldson and Mikel Ledger would be a lot happier now than they were at the start of the game, back at 2-2. It's a deep free kick, and it's going to be attacked by Hewitt, but it's turned away. doing the dirty work and just tracking back, keeping the play alive. Bit unlucky as it slips away from Claudio.
Just a bit too high.
You would like to think, I mean, we're talking theoretically, but the longer the game goes on, Reading keep controlling big possession and really stretching the opposition. That there'll be some tired legs in that Palace team before too long.
No, they're working really hard. They're doing really well. They're keeping the ball, and they're getting out wide, and they're going past the defenders, and you can see some of the Palace players that they are a bit tired. So hopefully they can use that and try to palm them.
That's absolutely fantastic defending by Saki once more. He's well, as you say, if he's converted from a winger to playing fullback, it's because he enjoys that tussle. You can see.
You can see he's loving the fullback position. It's not often. I'll be honest. It's not often I see that when they go from winger to being a defender. It's good to see.
In the old days, as they say, it was very much if you didn't make it as a winger, you just got put in the fullback position. But it's definitely an art now, isn't it? Much more so than it ever has been.
Yeah, pretty much all the most fullbacks, they were wingers at some stage of their career. So it's just where managers like to see them, where because obviously managers normally know the best, don't they? So yeah.
Nevers again on just before the half time. Trying to work Thistleton hard. And he wins a throw, and there's just enough time to try and turn this into one last attack, see if he can steal a lead for the first time in this game. Nice little touch. Well, that's a brilliant little interchange.
Oh,
that's absolutely wonderful. Claudio Soria with the opportunity. McGiff just tries to hold the ball up.
So strong. Such a strong guy.
Soria's going to keep it alive. There was an opportunity there, but just wide is Conor Lawless just before the half-time and whistle, and that's 2-2 at the break. Conor Lawless with a late opportunity. Reading were 2-0 down, but they managed to get one back through Linford Saki, and then Claudio Soria drew it back to 2 apiece. And it's been a pretty entertaining first half, hasn't it?
It's been very entertaining. It's been great football to see. You can see, passion from both teams. You can see Reading coming back from the 2-0, going 2-0 down. So it's a great bit of football.
It's all to play for in the second half. If it ends 2-2 as well, it would all any draw for that matter. It means extra time and penalties. It means you and I are going to have to be here for another half an hour. So we'll have to warm up over the half-time break. I think Yokol and I are going to go and get a cup of tea or coffee or something, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes' time. Welcome back to Madejski Stadium. It's half-time. Reading 2, Crystal Palace 2 in the FA Youth Cup. And Yockel, it's all to play for in the second half, but extra time looms if we don't get a winner.
No, exactly. I was just telling you before now that I'm feeling an extra time would be very, very typical in these kind of games. You know, getting proper nerve-wracking and stuff, but hopefully we will get a goal and we'll have a comfortable win in the end.
Players just making their way out onto the field and I've warmed up with a coffee. You were going to raid the sandwiches in the director's box, but didn't quite get the opportunity.
I don't know why I don't have them, but it's getting quite chilly now, isn't it? It's been a horrible day. Training was absolutely awful this morning, absolutely soaked, but it's just football really, got to get through it.
Yeah, it was a tricky old drive back down the M1 from Barnsley this morning after the Barnsley match last night. But here we are back at Madejski Stadium, ready for the second half. And again, one of these teams is going to go through to the next round. Wolves or Nottingham Forest they meet tomorrow at New Bucks Head in Telford. The winner of that tie will meet the winner of this tie. And we're almost ready to go in the second half. No sign of any changes. Just to remind you of the team: Kenai Boyce Clark in goal. Josh Hewitt's the captain, and he partners Gerald Dorset. Linford Saki, originally a winger, but he's we've just seen the substitute, and I believe it's for Crystal Palace. Linford Saki's the full-back on the right-hand side for the Royals. In fact, I beg your pardon, he might actually... No, I beg your pardon, he is on for the second half. Imari Samuels on the left-hand side. Pendlebury, Sorio, and Ollie Pendlebury... Lawless and Pendlebury and Osorio in the midfield. 3 Neves and Neves, and then Augustus McGee. I've got a few subs ready to call upon if need be. In particular, Nahum Melvin Lambert, who scored some pretty important goals in those sort of turnaround victories we've been talking about. So a little bit of firepower to call upon from midfield if need be.
Yeah. They've got something like Ollie, he's really good at striking the ball, and Connor, he's got very good finishing. So you've got good finishers all around in this team.
In the half-time change, it was Dylan Thistleton, who was having a really tough time up against Sierra Neves. But as we start the second half, there's a really decent opportunity for Palace. The referee certainly didn't spot it, and Linford Saki just batters his way to try to make life hard. And eventually just uses that little shoulder, and I guess he won the ball cleanly eventually, but it was the initial challenge that the referee penalises.
So he got a bit anti on him earlier, so it's got to watch that.
Jude Russell is the man who's made his way onto the field for Palace. They've used one of their subs at half-time. And I think it's probably they probably identified that as an area where Reading would get quite a lot of joy through Thierry Neves, and maybe it was a tactical switch. Unless there was an injury, of course, there's been a few little knocks and niggles in the first half.
No, I understand. Thierry was on fire there. He was causing him all kinds of problems. So it could be a tactical switch.
As the free kick comes in, the referee he spots. He hadn't allowed it to happen, and then. Nope. And then they're going to get a chance all over again. Similar position to one of the second goal that Palace scored, was sort of a little bit like this. And in the middle, it's Sabawali who gets the header to the ball, but he can't make a true connection. I mentioned the bench. They've got a full 7 Palace, but Reading just the 5. Nelson Abbey, Harvey Collins is the goalkeeper, Alfie Anderson, Nahum Melvin Lambert, and Jordan Hamilton. And there's definitely some goals in Melvin Lambert.
I've definitely seen some goals there. It's another injury.
I wonder if it was when he went up for that header. Looks like he's receiving a bit of treatment to his face. There's Tim Sabawali for Palace. Yeah, as we mentioned, that 4-3 turnaround away at Aston Villa that kind of helped the Royals into the knockout stages of the Under-18 Premier League. Melvin Lambert with a hat-trick, Imari Samuels I mean, to be 3 goals down and to win. I mean, it's to not collapse is one thing, but to turn it around and I mean, I suppose it was the Villa who collapsed in that sense, isn't it?
Yeah, I was so shocked because over the last couple of years, if I would say anything that's been lacking maybe from the under-18s is showing character and showing that belief that you can go and win the game. And it's just I'm so pleased to see that these lads are showing that, and they're not just playing like robots. They actually want to win the game. And, that's what as well will it will people will see that, people will recognise that, and then they'll go, oh, let's see how these lads are. So it's massive. It's so good to see.
And they're certainly having a bit of a better time of it this season in the league, aren't they, than last year? It was a tough year last year, wasn't it, for the 18s?
Oh yeah, it was. It's been tough. There's been changes with coaches and stuff. Dodgy obviously was with the under-18s for so many years, and there was changes with the coaches, and there's obviously with the Eamon Dolan, that was such a, God bless him, that was such a big loss to the club, and it's been hard for the club, but I would say, we're only on the uprise, so it's only been up now, so yeah.
That crossfield ball intended for Pedro Neves, he can't quite keep it in play, and the referee's just having a little word with one of Palace's defenders. Not entirely clear what the problem was, but he certainly made his opinion clear. Sliced a little bit there by Morrison as gives Palace a throw on halfway. Thank you again to everyone who's watching on YouTube, and thank you for there's a few Icelanders who are making their opinions felt about you. I think some of your friends from there we go. A few questions as to where Michael Elise is. Yeah, of course he is eligible, but he's with the first team squad as they prepare for Stoke City this weekend. They're staying up in the Midlands at St George's Park and taking advantage of those facilities. So hopefully, that little mini break will be good for the team and get the first team back into winning ways at the Bet365 Stadium. Once again, he's a little bit of a nibble, but he's into the final third. Well, it's a fantastic run. He finds Lawless, and he's going to. That's a great little shimmy from Connor Lawless, and that's I'm sure if the defender or the outstretched leg of the goalkeeper, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, from a goalkeeper's point of view, it'll be nice to.
He's a good
It's Palace are on the attack, and they've got a few little options over. Abby's just provided with the first. Well, it actually looks like it. Is he given the? Well, it's given a yellow card there. And it's not entirely clear what happened. There was something off the ball, perhaps, or maybe. Beg your pardon. Perhaps it was the foul a lot earlier on Gerald Dorset when he was storming forward, not for the first time. And that's another thing. If you're a striker, and you want to be thinking about putting the ball in the net, and the centre half's darting past you. That's your man you've got to pick up, isn't it? So
you're not enjoying it.
And it's Reading's number 9, Augustus McGiff, who makes life hard for the Palace defence.
Well, he reminds me a bit of Andrea. Hard worker. Likes to shoot the ball really well, and good finisher.
And another one of these players is coming through the Reading Academy, like Andrea, and like yourself as well. You're a long way from home, really, and it's a bit of a heavy collision. The goalkeeper, he's okay. And luckily, he hasn't stayed down, but couldn't take it cleanly.
No, he got on top of his own defender, so at least there was no foul.
McGiff hassling. Neves has got a little opportunity here. Finds Osorio. McGiff with those short socks is going to put one over, but goalkeeper's back up, and luckily for he wanted to be on the end of it really rather than.
Short socks.
No, they're amazing. No, they're really. They make you very identifiable. You can't pick out who's who and stuff. We're quite a long way away from the pitch here and stuff. And you look for those little signs, don't you? What colour the boots are and things. And the guy with the socks rolled right way down. It kind of makes it. Looks like he's just wearing his shin pads.
No, exactly. I always question how they get actually their shin pads in there because it's not really on their shin.
But yeah, as we were saying about Augustus McGiff and Andrej Novakovic, yourself, Axel, and a few of these players in the Reading team that have come a long way from home, and it's I guess you kind of like you got to trust the football club to make it look after you and put you in digs and find you accommodation, all these different things that are kind of untold stories of academies in some senses.
It is so hard to move away from your family and your friends and start a new life. England is very different to any other country I've been in, So it's personally as well, I thought it's quite hard to adapt. But it's just because the club made you feel so welcome and you know the
Koecha drives downfield and he's going to make life a bit difficult for the Reading defence all of a sudden. And it's played in. It's 3-2. Rob Street tucks it in, and once again Reading have got it all to do because out of nowhere, Palace are 3-2 ahead.
It's a very good thing. I'll give him that. Very got it right. He kind of curved away from Kanaya and into the side net. So
it's a really good run by Pierre Koecha as well, which kind of opened things up. And it's one of those ones where you think actually take the yellow card maybe.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to think like just tactically what you can do and how you can stop the attack. You don't want the yellow, but sometimes you just got to do
10 minutes into the second half and Palace lead 3-2, and Reading once again have got to show that character that's got them through the Premier League Cup and got them through in league games, and once again in the FA Youth Cup again against the team, not Cat 1 team, not in the Premier Division, but it's a cup tie and anything can happen. So
I still believe we can still get back in it. We've shown in the first half, and I'm very sure we'll be
if Reading were to win this, they'd have to score a couple more goals, and it wouldn't be the first time they've scored 4 this season. 4-3 wins against Aston Villa and Middlesbrough. They've had 3-3 draw against West Ham United, 3-1 win over Swansea. Scored 3 against Norwich, but they conceded 5 on that occasion. So they've had a few high-scoring affairs. McGiff's going to make McGiff gets into the area again, shields the ball really well. Got a little nice touches just to work a little bit of space. Others can't quite pick out the wrong. Well, it looks like is it a penalty? Is it a free kick right on the edge of the box? He was caught and he went sprawling into the box, but yeah, the contact right on the edge. And, I think all the players are arguing the toss because it's right on the border, and that would have been a route back in. But it's still a good opportunity.
Very good opportunity. We've got some great free kick takers like Conor Lawless and Thierry Neves. He can whip the ball, so surely we could use that as an advantage.
Possibly slightly 18 yards out, right on the edge of the box. It's one of those ones where you'd like a couple extra yards just to get it up and down, but as a goalkeeper, you're still worried about these ones, aren't you? Lining up the wall.
Yeah, I literally conceded an amazing goal against Charlton.
It's into the wall, and it's sliced on the rebound by Pemberbury. And they did do what you asked for the first time round, which is just have a pop. But the angle, in this instance, maybe the angle would have been better to try and work it.
You just want to work the keeper there, get something on the keeper, maybe carry for a corner or anything.
There's the substitute, and that could be. Well, it's picked up well. That was once again that would have been a very telling goal if it had gone in. Just wanted to help it on, but ended up catching Sabal Ali. Looks like he might have caught him in the face. Not much malice in it, but doesn't make any less sore for the man who's got hit, has it?
Yeah, you just never obviously can do anything. He was just trying to touch the ball down, but yeah, you got him in the face.
Not for the first time a Palace player needs a bit of attention, but it looks like he'll be fine. This gives us the opportunity to remind you that the under-23s are back in action on Monday, 16th of December at 7 p.m. against Manchester United in Premier League 2. So if you can come along for free parking, free entry, and you can also meet the team at the fan store, I beg your pardon, ahead of the game. There'll be some first-team players in there signing autographs and right ahead of Christmas. So that'll be a good opportunity to come and see some under-23 football, and hopefully the man alongside me, Joko Anderson, hopefully involved as well.
Yeah, it would be. Hopefully, as many people can come. It will be a great game. I promise you that. So hopefully, as many people can come and support the boys. So yeah.
Saka just gives away the free kick. He just ran away from him, and I think in his desperation to not let anything fall cheaply, he's ended up conceding a foul. And once again, Reading have got a set piece to deal with.
It's quite similar to quite a dangerous area.
Maybe even a shooting opportunity. It's a little bit more central as well.
Literally, you might, like I was saying earlier, the goal I see it against Charlton, it was round from there, absolutely whipped it a bit. Unbelievable. So yeah, literally anything can happen from these free kicks.
When you say anything, a spectacular goal can happen. And it's the second goal of the night for Brandon Navarro, which makes it 4-2 to Crystal Palace, and Reading are really up against it now. An hour played, and they're 2 goals behind.
Can't believe it happened. Just talk about it, and it's only been done it. Yeah, it's a great free kick. So there's nothing much that the wall or the keeper can do, because it's travelling with such pace, and sometimes you just got to put your hands up and say, yeah, good goal.
Pretty spectacular effort, which puts the game quite well. Reading have got a lot of work to do, and I think they're going to make their first substitution of the match, and it looks like it's Jordan Hamilton who's going to be coming on. I assume that's going to allow Linford Saka to push on, because it's Pedro Neves who comes off. And I think he'll just be passing on that message. And, well, at the moment, Linford's staying in that.
Come on, boys, I know you can get back into this game.
Half an hour plus stoppages to go for Reading to get back into it. And that run we mentioned a few times already, that 4 years ago when Big Brother Axel was involved. It all started really with that night here against the Sheffield United team, and that was a one which was going a fairly scrappy one. It was looking all the world for a scrappy 1-0 in the Blades' favour up until Gabe Osho smashing one in. I think whether it touched his arm on the way in or anything, he doesn't mind, because if there was no VAR that night for sure. So, and that put Reading in gave them the opportunity to go on extra time, win the match, get through a few rounds as well, and beat Fulham, Wolves, and then eventually play Chelsea. So hopefully we'll see some character from this team. Team that conceded a lot more than, again, the coaches will be frustrated at the manner of some of the goals, perhaps the manner of the free kicks that have been conceded to that have led to the goals.
We've been given quite a lot of free kicks in dangerous areas, and it's from the second goal or first goal with the header, where it's quite, you have to take charge of these things.
And Saka just strides down the side, and he tries to find Hamilton. He's going to get there, and I think it's just stabbed over as he had to stretch to get into it. pardon, it's going to be a corner for the Royals. It wasn't a touch off of Hamilton, which means that Samuels with his left foot is going to put in swing it, and Dorset goes forward to attack as well.
Big players,
Again, it's the opportunity from the short one. Decent delivery by Samuels. He's looking for Dorset at the back post. Pendlebury's going to challenge. And eventually it's that clear. They've got to make sure this doesn't turn into anything because Lawless. And eventually, coming back from an offside position was Thierry Nevers. The assistant spots it. Nelson Abbey's going to be the man to take to the field. The man to make way is going to be Gerald Dorset. So, is there going to be a tactical switch, do you think?
Yeah, it must be. Or maybe Gerald. I think Gerald got a knock earlier in the season. It might be. You can see he's holding his groin or his leg. Yeah, he might be. I think he's suffering from a little injury. So could be that, or as you said, tactical.
Hopefully not a relapse, anything that's going to keep him out for too long. But he didn't look very comfortable as he came off the pitch, which would be a shame to lose him. But when you're young, I think it's that sort of time is on your side to get back from those injuries, but you do want to develop and play football, and you want to keep the ball out of the net too. And they've got some good defending there. Eventually, Abbey's first contribution is to try and prevent a fifth for Palace. Lawless does well, and it's just overhit by Nevers, and it gives Palace a chance to just reset.
Just need to get back in control, like we were at the end of half time. We looked like we were in control of the game, having possession.
Abbey was just offside. The direct ball forward came in, but the Royals have got 25 minutes plus stoppages to see what they can do. They've been 2 goals down before in this game, and they've come back. Got it all to do again though, and time is ticking away. And at some point, that gamesmanship's going to start coming in, isn't it? Which is it's all part of it, but it's horrible to watch when you're on the receiving end, isn't it? Not that we've seen any of it so far, we must add, but it's but you can. That's one of those small factors in the game that. A lot of Palace bodies committed forward. There was a bit of pressure came on, but just picked it up the field.
I think they made some good trying to get more players forward because they look only really.
Bit of a risky one as the ball's turned over once more, and now there's a few frustrated players in black shirts who wanted a free kick, but not forthcoming, and here comes Pendlebury instead. Hamilton moves it on to Pendlebury. He's got an opportunity. Not many bodies in the box though, and but they are going to have a corner.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Maybe have a look up, seeing that they're willing maybe bodies in them, but go for it.
Decent delivery meant that Subawali couldn't afford to take too many chances. But as you mentioned earlier, you probably want to see a few bodies streaming in there and make it tough.
You just want to see. Players getting forward and getting in the box because now they're going, we are leading Treasure with 2 goals. We don't really have anything to lose, so just trying to get anything, in the box and trying to score some goals.
Halfway through the second half, that's all 3 changes made for Reading now as Alfie Anderson just comes on. Linford Sackey's the man to make way after a pretty useful first half, but I think it's going to have to be Gonna have to try something different now. Where's Alfie Anderson likely to sort of line up amongst this formation? Because he's going to a quite a forward position at the moment.
Yeah. Can't remember what game it was, but it was either in the Borough game that he came on. He scored one of the late winners, so hopefully we'll get that again now.
That game you mentioned against Middlesbrough, Reading were 3-2 down even as late as the 89th minute, and Jordan Hamilton, who's come on tonight, got the equaliser, and then, as you mentioned, Alfie Anderson got the winning goal in stoppage time. So something along those lines wouldn't go amiss tonight. But Nevis on the right hand side hangs a ball up, but ends up leaping behind for a goal kick. You're going to see a few of those black shirts just dropping a bit deeper and deeper and trying to make the angles more difficult. And the passes are going to be, you're going to have to be very precise from a Reading point of view to going to work something into their area. So what was the big differences then when you moved over from Iceland? What was it about the culture of being in England that kind of...
It was just probably, like, because I'm a very open person, I'm a very, friendly, and, I like to, it was just getting, like, used to the banter and stuff, like, I just didn't really get it at first. I'm alright with it now.
So I was going to say, I think, alright, and it's probably a bit of an understatement on your behalf there,
but it was just getting used to the, getting used to the people and used to, how everyone worked, drive on the wrong side of the road and stuff, so it's just like, you have to be so different, but it was just getting, in Iceland, we don't have any school uniforms and that, and when I come in here, I went into an all-boys school in Forest, it was just like a massive culture shock. So. But when you get through that first year, I would say, personally for me, some people it takes no time to get used to it, but for me, it took around a year to get properly used to it. But I would never like to move back. I love it too much here in Reading, so it just made me feel like I'm part of the family here. So.
It's great to hear. I think I know your big brother enjoyed his time here, but he's out in Stavanger, isn't he, with Viking, and hopefully he's got a bit of an injury at the start of the season. You're saying?
Unluckily, he tore his ACL at literally 10 minutes into the first game of the season, and that is literally just him out for the rest of the season. But last season, he played the second half of the season with Viking, and they won the league. He played not even half of the games, and he got into the team of the year and stuff. So he was loving life in Norway. He really enjoyed it in Norway. So it's all that matters, that he's enjoying his football and enjoying life. So.
A beautiful part of the world as well. I mean, I've only seen Stavanger from the passing through there on a ferry one time on the way to Bergen. But absolutely stunning scenery, and it must be a great sort of environment to work in. But that can take the back seat for the moment as we concentrate on Reading as they look to get back into this one. There's less than 20 minutes to go now, and as a gift for August McGiff, and he's kept it very well indeed and lawless to Osorio. Just that little, it's got a really nice short little turning circle, hasn't it, Claudio Osorio? It's a clever idea, but perhaps not exactly what was. Oh wow, that's a yellow card if I've ever seen one from Maiden Steel. Just completely wiping out Ollie Bendigo.
I feel like they're starting playing now, trying to do that link-up play like they were doing in the first half, and that might be frustrating them, so just can't keep doing that and keep going.
Keep chipping away, and first and foremost get that goal to get it back to 4-3 and Certainly don't concede another one, because that would be game over, I think, with this. Well, I say that, but I say it would be game over. We've seen Reading. That looked like it might have been going wide from Lawless, but the defender didn't want to take too many chances. Samuels. Lawless just in the most deep position for the Royals, as he just looks to play quarterback role, see if he can pick a pass, but he's a little bit loose this time. Again, there will be some tired legs coming into it, because they'll have expended a lot of energy, both physically and emotionally as well. It's a big ask, isn't it, building up to this game?
It's very mentally tough as well, because, there's a lot of analysis, a lot of meetings, because you want to try the game always be one step ahead of the opponent. So you have to be really switched on, and you have to be really make sure you're getting good sleep and you're eating the right stuff. It is tough.
Hamilton's low ball in, it's cut out on this route to McGiff, and a little bit of a rushed clearance by Malachi Boateng, the captain for Crystal Palace. Gives Reading an opportunity from this throw. Never's just trying to, battling to try and win the ball and try not to give that foul away, but didn't wait for the referee, didn't wait for his assistant. He was right on the spot to flag, which was. Touch from Conor Lawless. He draws the foul. A little bit stop-start, isn't it? Yeah. That one isn't, though. No. Oh, that one is. Or maybe not. Yes, it is. Quite dramatic fall, but I think he was clipped a little bit. I think it was McGiff, was it? Who was.
This is where Reading needs to make sure heads are screwed on, not to give too many free kicks away, because he just can't. It drains time on it. So he needs to be smarter and be, game management, thinking the right thing.
With less than 15 minutes to go, you don't want to give away too many, because they can eat away a minute at a time without too much trouble, can't they? If,
you only need one little bit of that, and then
Lawless finds Anderson, draws it in low. And now Reading have got to be careful on the counter. It's 4-on-4 at the moment, and the ball's switched. It's going to just run away slightly from Avero, who's been on the score sheet twice this evening, but he does keep it in play. He cuts onto his right foot and absolutely lashes one, which hits the net, but only via the advertising boards. Boyce Clark instantly looks for Imari Samuels. And in fairness, Jude Russell turned on the afterburners there and almost gives away possession. It was his midfield partner Conor Lawless picks up possession. Here's McGiff, just hassling and parrying and seeing what he can do. He just can't quite pick that pass. He probably just needs to. He just tells the referee what he thinks of that one. And he's going to take a huge yellow card for the team, but that's the frustration kicking in, isn't it, really?
See, yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. You can't let them get in your head. You need to be, you need to make sure that you are calm and collected and not, give teams cards.
In some respects, it's not the wrong thing to do that he broke the attack.
No, it should be fair. Yeah, he broke the attack, but you need to make sure that you don't get another one.
You could tell the frustration probably played a part in that. Less than 10 seconds before he was telling the referee what he thought. And good little touch there by Hamilton, just a nice little skill, but it doesn't quite come off. And all of a sudden, oh, that's offside, just on the far side. I think he was looking right across the line, the Palace player there, but still in play according to the referee. Samuels finds Lawless. And everyone's retreating from the Palace point of view, but they are taking up some good positions. Here's Neves with I think it was a quite intentional ball for Osorio, who can't quite pick that pass again. There was so many bodies back. In fairness to Palace, they're also breaking at speed as well, which is means that Reading got to be a bit careful in the attack as well. So kind of managing the game pretty well so far. Palace, who are also about to make their second substitute of the evening. Coming off as Rob Streets, who scored the third goal for Crystal Palace, and he's going to be replaced by John Kimani-Gordon for the final 11 minutes plus added time. And there hasn't been a great deal of stoppages in the second half here. The first was a little bit popped through a few sort of injuries and so on, but it's been, other than the referee being slightly whistle happy perhaps, it's been hasn't been many stoppages this half, so Reading.
Not as many. Just this free kick.
Backtracking, Amara Samuels couldn't get any purchase on that header, and again possession gets turned over. But now there's a breaking opportunity because Pendlebury picks up and Neves' momentum. He gets that little touch on his studs, but cut out eventually by the recovering defender.
Get the ball in the box.
Spotting little opportunities, but here comes McGiff just trying to put a bit of pressure on, but Boateng takes control. Just a bit of a loose one for Russell. I think we've mentioned it throughout the evening, the kind of comebacks that Reading had this season. Psychologically, that must help a lot because you've got that in the bank. You've got it. Everyone sort of trusts that you can't be too desperate. And, you just got to trust what you do, and you'll get opportunities if you keep doing the right things rather than the desperate things.
Yeah, it's hard mentally. It's hard mentally because it's so easy to get emotional and just do what you want to do. That's where you've got to be.
There's 3 in the box for Hamilton, but just a low one was cut out. Darren Moller hacks it clear, and all of a sudden Gordon, who's got fresh legs, is going to drive against the 2 Reading players, and he wins a free kick as well. Probably the best he could have hoped for in that scenario. And with 3 bodies in the box, you just want.
Yeah, try to get good delivery and try to hit someone, or make it deflect off something. Just cause any kind of problem.
In fairness to the visitors, I think all evening they've managed to deal with a lot of those balls in by just an outstretched leg or or something, just to get them away. So they've not really given Reading scraps to feed on, have they?
No, they've been. I'll be fair. They've been solid in the back. You know, the fullbacks. Well, to be fair, Thierry had the other fullback on post. To be fair, but, you know, the central defenders.
Gordon again, but Pemberbury, well, that could turn into a decent ball actually. Around the corner from McGiff, he's just got to hold the play up. Again, shields the ball nicely. In fact, not more than that, drives in the field, and he's got a run in out Anderson, but might go all the way on his own. And eventually he's brought to the ground on, and that's a fantastic bit of forward play there from Augustus McGiff, who's, well, he's just been working his socks off all night, and it's.
He's been doing that all night, hasn't he? It's just hasn't been able to get that goal yet, but you never know yet. Still got 6.5 minutes to go.
And the goal here would certainly spice things up. Thierry Nevers is over the ball. Ollie Pemberbury's close by. And there's a lot of bodies forward looking for those scraps as well.
Just trying to hit the target, work the keeper.
Nevers into the wall. As a goalkeeper, that's what you want to see, isn't it? They're all doing its job.
It's a nice thing to see.
Good thing from Mercenary just to work things, and Morris Samuels is going to try and drive to the line, but I don't know, it looked like a little bit heavy-handed, didn't it? Looked like use his arms, but the referee doesn't feel that there's any infringement, which but there's certainly a few more bodies forward now. There's a line of 6 players from in Reading shirts just trying to move around, and on the far side of the Morris Samuels is pulling wide just to sort of stretch the play as well. And here he is on the ball, in fact. His cross is cut out.
Obviously, they've been good at that, cutting crosses, not getting any danger in the box.
Anderson receives it plenty of space, and all of a sudden that's a good opportunity for Osorio, and he didn't really catch it cleanly. I think he was probably slightly rushed in his effort when he might maybe had a bit more time. It's a nice ball in from Anderson. We've been given the freedom of that side of the pitch, haven't we?
Yeah. It's just that little scan, seeing what's going on around you. You actually have time, and maybe some communication from your teammates saying you've got time for us.
These will be frustrating moments for Reading as the play kind of gets halted, and you don't want to be accusatory, but when you see opposition players drop into the floor at this stage of the match, when you're trying to get back into it, it's just so frustrating, isn't it?
You're just thinking, because it ruins the momentum, it ruins the trying to get the speed and the tempo going. So, but, if we are the other team, we're taking it all down.
Moving the ball means that it's going to have to be retaken. Nelson Abbey was in a hurry just to get the game going again. That's the nature of it sometimes, isn't it? Hamilton's driving down the wing. It's just lofted up, and it's neither a cross or a shot at the end of it, is it?
Yeah, I just feel like we've been lacking the quality of the crosses a bit. We haven't been really getting it. It's either that, or when we get a big cross in, just haven't been too many bodies in the box. So just finding the balance of it.
Final change of the game. Fionn Mooney's going to come on, and Brandon Avira, who's got on the score sheet twice this evening, makes way. And again, it's one of these ones he'll trudge over. In fairness, not too slow a pace, but we are approaching the final couple of minutes of the game now. And time is not on Reading's side anymore.
Still, anything could happen.
Keep positive, keep believing.
could have a scrappy little goal, and that's all you need. Then you've got the momentum to get the other one.
And again, the free kick's conceded, and it just saps the play. You know, you want to keep that ball live, keep it in play, and keep the ball moving, and ideally in possession as well. But
it takes so much time, and that, you know, when there's like these little free kicks, they don't really go into the injury time. So, you know,
slightly loose from Lawless, but he's scrapped to try and win it back. Gordon's trying to get something on it. Josh here, a great tackle there just to make sure Gordon didn't get anything. But once again, possession's turned over. Gretschers gets into the area, good feet, great drive, and a nice save from Boyce Clark.
This is where we just need to take control. It's like silly little mistakes that, you know, sort of passes.
And as we enter the final minute of the 90, Palace have a corner, and they're not going to commit too many bodies forward. And everyone's in the Reading half. Their goalkeeper's in the centre circle for whatever reason, but I'm sure they'll stay compact if they need to. Reading will need that, and they've got a couple of players forward. McGiff is hoping to.
Really put bodies forward, do they?
Samuels does get the better of the attacker there, who will probably take a well.
You can see what he was trying to do there, and he was just trying to waste the time.
Here comes Hamilton. And Nevers, who's been operating on this flank for much of the half. And the referee signals 4 added minutes, and it's all Reading have got to try and salvage this cup tie. They'll need 2 goals in quick succession to do it. Samuels does well just to keep it in play, slightly overhit by Lawless, but here comes Nelson Abbey. Not a bad delivery at all, and he's defending well, to be fair. Jude Russell does get an important head to it, because that was a really telling cross. I mean, we've had a few good balls in good areas, but that's one of the few ones that's really made the defence work. Here's Anderson, floats one over. Here's McGiff. The referee won't give it because the defender played it, and again, just here comes the counter attack. If Palace can settle, Hamilton tries to get the better of his man, but eventually concedes a throw. Whatever the result tonight, and again, it doesn't look like it's going to go Reading's way unless we do have that late turnaround. I'm sure the players will take a lot of learning from it. It might not feel like it tonight. Here comes Amari Samuels. He gets. He went down. It looked like he might have had a little clip or something, and he's appealing. It's a bit half-hearted. Thinking maybe he took a bit of contact, but maybe not enough to warrant the penalty he wanted.
Maybe, you know, he got. He kicked himself as well a bit, so that's why I really didn't give it, but no, as you were saying, it's a great experience for football. It's something to put in the experience bank. So we've just got to see what's the best thing. If they do lose, you know, the game isn't over yet. So yeah.
The offside flag goes up against Mooney, who against a sort of slightly broken and ragtag line is Reading commit bodies forward. Defending's not really on the agenda for them now. It's all about trying to get that ball forward. The goalkeeper does well to spot that, and again, from a goalkeeper's point of view, that's a good take, isn't it?
Just takes some control and puts off pressure off his defenders and the team as well. So it's a good goalkeeper.
As we're into the 4th minute of added time, Palace are in possession, and in possession of a 2-goal lead as well, at 4-2 to score with time running away. You can certainly see sparks in this Reading team, though. Some of these players will go on and have professional careers, won't they?
Yeah, 100%. There's been some really good attacking football, like really good link-up play, and it's very, it's so good to see. It's just that, I think Chris Palace just got, get ahead on the game, and obviously got them goals. Maybe if we converted some more chances, obviously goals changes games, don't it? So yeah, there's been some really good sparks in this team, and a lot of them are going to be some excellent professional football players.
The referee has been checking his watch for a little while, and we're past that for those 4 minutes, and I think he's going to put the game to bed in just a moment. Nelson Abbey's going to have one last chance to launch the ball forward just to see if we can. Anderson with a swivel, but it's cut out. And that's the full-time whistle. And at the 3rd round stage, Reading exit the competition. Palace progress. They'll play either Wolves or Forest in the next round. And overall, Yockel, it's a disappointing evening because of the results. Hopefully, there'll be positives to take going forward.
Yeah, no, I would say that big positives. Like in the first half, we were on the front line. There was some great, as I said earlier, some great link-up play and some great, great football to see. But yeah, Chris Palace just got hold of it tonight, and they'll learn from it massively.
A few of these players too, the likes of Thierry Nevers and Ollie Pendlebury, Conor Lawless, I'm sure they would have been desperate to kind of go one better than last year, rather than the opposite, really.
Yeah, I understand it's so disappointing for them because, like last year, we didn't really, we could have performed a lot better. So they're thinking just how disappointing it is. They could have, wanted to go further. So that's just
credit to Crystal Palace, of course.
No, I thought they were very good. I thought that, as I thought sometimes Reading actually played the better football. They just, they made sure they stopped the crosses. They stopped, I thought the defence was very solid, and then obviously they took their chance, with that really good free kick and some good finishes. So yeah, credit to Crystal.
As you mentioned, hopefully a few of these players are going to go on and have long, fulfilling careers in the games, and even the ones who don't, the education you get at Reading Football Club is all important, isn't it? They try and make rounded young men here at the academy.
Yeah. No, even though obviously, as like you said earlier, they won't think about it like tonight, but as they go on, they'll see how much they did from to play in the stadium. It's probably one of some of the lads' first time playing at Medeski Stadium, so it's just all experience and try to take the best out of it.
It's certainly better playing here than down at Hogwood in front of not too many fans. Well, not many fans at all. In fact, zero fans, I should say, or even at Adams Park where you're a little bit out of the way, aren't you?
Yeah, because Adams Park is almost an hour away with traffic and stuff. So it's so nice to locally for other people that haven't seen them come and play and see what they got, what they got a bit about and it's disappointing, but that's football for you. You win or lose, so.
You do indeed, and of course, just a reminder that on next Monday, Manchester United here in the the Premier League 2, under 23s. Hopefully, Yokel will be involved. We've got free entry, free parking for all fans. So come along, support the future of Reading Football Club. Those players who are again knocking on the door of that first team.
Yeah, big game ahead. Like I said earlier, I think there's going to be some first team lads coming down, and some first team lads playing as well. So I think it'll be a very good game. So I hope as many people can come and support the boys. Obviously, the more people we get, obviously the better it'll be for us. So yeah, come down if you can.
And just before Christmas too, a few fans, as you say, will be visiting the fan store, getting a few things signed by those players, doing that signing session. Christmas doesn't really exist when you're a footballer, does it?
No, it does not. This is my actually first time that I have to be in with the first team on Christmas Day. So while my family's in Iceland, celebrate Christmas. But if I'm completely honest, I wouldn't rather to do anything else. It's football, and we love to play. So yeah, I wouldn't like to do anything else. But yeah, it is quite, as you said, there's not much Christmas for football.
Or just a little reminder of how tonight's game panned out. Brandon Navarro put Palace into an early lead, and that was doubled by Malachi Boateng stabbing in, the captain. But Reading did manage to claw their way back. Linford Saki popping up with the first goal, and then Claudio Sorio with the second, just to take it level at half time. After the break, Rob Street countered to put Palace back into the ascendancy, and then Brandon Navarro with a well taken free kick made it 4-2, which is how it ended, which ends Reading's FA Youth Cup run for this season at the first hurdle. But Reading Academy will still keep going. This team have got another opportunity in the Premier League Cup as well. So there's competitions plenty for these.
Yeah, like you said, in the cup, they've got obviously they did so well. They've been doing so well, haven't they? So they're just going to be carrying on that, and hopefully now in the league, they'll keep going and try to go higher in the league now as well. So there's big games coming up for them. So it's not the end of the world. So you just got goalkeeper being themselves.
Well, Yokel Anderson, thank you very much indeed for joining us, Reading SC goalkeeper there. And that's the last of it for this evening. Thank you very much for everyone who's joined us on YouTube this evening. Bit of a disappointing night for the academy, but we'll go again next time. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.